Okay, class recording starting. We are starting the shiur a little bit early. First of all, happy Purim Katan, everyone. Woo! Everyone, David Klein is here. Everyone say happy Purim to David Klein. You came to bring us some excitement and joy on this special day. And by the way, the Yetzer Hara tries to dress up in all different ways. Today, he dressed up like PSC&G guys to try to tell us to, move our cars in the middle of davening, comes to distract us. No, they'll wait. They'll wait. They didn't tell us beforehand. They'll wait a few minutes. It's we're trying to daven here. Hey. Okay. Today is the 14th of Adar, Purim Katan. What? I like the way you're thinking. Ellie, go get him. Okay, we're going to go check if they want to put on tefillin. All right. Today is the 14th of Adar Aleph, February 23rd. In today's lesson, Chavra, think about all the different, sometimes we think back to when we were younger. What a fool I was. By the way, David, is this the first time you're here live at the shiur? All right. Look at that, Chavra. Yesterday, the Alter Rebbe was giving us some ways of humbling our spirit and not to make us sad, but to take away the ego. Let's remember what the purpose is. So once we remove the ego, we're on track. And then we can go and do tshuva for the things that we remembered that we did. And by the way, we may have done tshuva for them, but sometimes as we get older, we're like, I probably could do a little bit more tshuva on that particular thing that I thought, that I said, that I, But now, what if you had a good childhood? Everything was wonderful. You did good in school, and you're a goody two shoes. Nothing happened. No traumas. No fights. No, you never got kicked out of class. You always got good grades, right? You probably don't belong here. You probably don't belong in this chair. Oh, I almost forgot. Today's shiur. First of all, Adam, thank you for starting a trend. Today's shiur is sponsored by Shelly Ben Nathan, commemorating the 5th yahrzeit of her father, Shabtai Ben Tzvi. So his neshama should have an aliyah, and today is the 5th yahrzeit, and so she's commemorating the yahrzeit today, and we're learning in his honor, in his memory. So sometimes you have a kid who goes through life at a young age. I mean, I don't remember any traumatic experiences and just evil. Some people, Ellie pointed out that everyone goes through life at a young age. At some point or another. I'll tell you why I don't feel like there's things from my past. It's just because I don't have a good memory. Sometimes it's helpful. Anyway. It is a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. And that's a good way to look at it. Other people complain, I can't believe I don't have a good memory. It's very helpful sometimes where you don't remember all the negative things that happened to you. You don't remember. But sometimes when you're up there speaking and you're like trying to remember where the Maramakim is, where's the source? And I knew it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember. Keep forgetting to take those memory pills. So now, what happens if your childhood was sweet, was good, was wonderful? Maybe a little here and there, but generally speaking, you were a pretty good kid. And growing up, you were a good guy. Okay, so that's where we're at. That's the stage we're at now. So the Alter Rebbe comes up with a new way to crush you, to push your ego down a little bit, because that's the point of this sugya here. Yosim el libay lekayim ma'amar zohar hakadosh liyos mimorei dechushbena. Even a person who thinks or feels that, you know what, I don't carry any guilt from sins that I did in my past, and that's good. But what he should do is he should be a master, as the Zohar says, of his accounts. What about today? What about yesterday? You know what? Maybe you got up on time, but you could have gotten up earlier and did a little bit extra learning before davening. You could have said brachas and washed your hands and did everything and come into davening with a more prepared spirit of the heart. Maybe it's not an avera, but there's definitely room for improvement. What'd you do? So you're able to look at it from that perspective. The Hainu, Lasis Cheshbonim Nafshe, a person can take stock with his soul. Mikola Machshaves Vadiburim Amaisa Shecholfu Be'ovru Miyoim Hayosim Ad Hayom Hazeh. He should start thinking about the things. Forget about the past for a moment. Maybe you can't come up with anything. You have more short-term memory. How about the last couple days? How about today? How about this moment where you were in the middle of davening Shmoneh Esrei not 15 minutes ago, and your mind was distracted? We're trying to say Kaddish, and there's trucks going by, and they're knocking on the door. So what? That's the Yetzer Hara. Ignore it. That's not for us. They could have come 15 minutes later, and nothing would have happened. The Yetzer Hara is testing us. Okay, it happens. So what would happen was, if all your thoughts were holy and focused on Hashem and what you're supposed to be doing, were all your thoughts focused on holiness? It's a question, actually. Or, God forbid, the other side, impurities. No one can decide what's going on through your mind during davening. That you can be the judge. And I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Because I know what happens in here. You know what happens in there. It's not so simple. It's not pretty. You probably don't want to share it publicly. Right? It's life. The Hainu Kol HaMachshavos V'Hadiburim HaMaisa Asher Lo LaHashem Hema Yirtzoynoi V'Lavadosei Shezehu Pirush Loshin Sitra Achara K'Niska Le'il. Is every word that I said today, it's only 8:48. Is every single word that I said today directed towards Hashem? Is every thought that went through my mind godly, holy, and spiritual? Okay, the mind's obviously harder to control. We worked on many different meditations and methods, but the speech that comes out of my mouth, I'm a Jew. I have all the right intentions. Why did I say that? I didn't have to say that. Even if it's not considered terrible on the sliding scale of terrible, 1 out of 10 or whatever, but it was unnecessary. And maybe even, it was sarcastic. I thought it was funny, but he didn't. And he was the butt of the joke. So if it's not holy, then it's the other side. Excuse me 1 moment. Short initial break for a quick water. This segment of our Shiur is sponsored by Kirkland's. Best water. Best. I'm just joking. See? Totally unnecessary. Total waste of words and time. Ashamed of myself. Oh my dad, and you should know, if you weren't thinking the thoughts that are just, you look outside, you get distracted, like, oh, what are they doing? Suddenly your mind is elsewhere. You're not thinking of holiness. Now we brought that into holiness because we're using it as a mashal and learning Torah. But if it's not the other side, then it's holiness. So let's focus on anything that we could possibly do to think, speak, and act holy. And then Nasa Merkava Be'ezu Lehechlois Hakdoisha Shemehem Mushbois Machshavet Halalu. When we think holy thoughts and when we say words of Torah, and we're very careful not to say, there's someone, a good friend of mine, who doesn't speak the whole Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is not a time to say any words that are not, there are people that have that minute. I did it 1 year. It was not easy. And my brothers were ribbing me all night when we went to sleep, When I was a bacher, I did it. Just to try it out, it's not easy. And imagine you could do that every day and only speak exactly measured words that are necessary. Are you sure? Are you sure? Think about it before you say it. I'll get back to you in a second. We're almost done. If every word that comes out of your mouth and every action that you do, and the hardest part, of course, takes a lot of practice, every thought that goes to your mind is dedicated to Hashem, then you become, and by the way, even if this is not all day long, but it's moments like this, during davening, tonight we're going to sing, Kabbalah Shabbos, we're going to dance around the bima, today's Purim Katan, we add a little bit extra joy. So, if we could do that, then those moments, you become a chariot to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, just like our avos. Ram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and Sarah, and Leah. Their whole lives were dedicated exclusively to Hashem. So we become a chariot completely subservient to these heichalos, to the same degree that a vehicle has no will of its own. It just does exactly what the driver does. We do exactly what Hashem wants us to do. When a person, God forbid, thinks impure thoughts or says words that are not appropriate for a Jew to say, or even just not necessary. Dvar b'telim doesn't mean foul language or disgusting talk about things that we shouldn't talk about. Because someone said a joke yesterday, I was like, whatever. He goes, at least it was clean. I'm like, how does that work? Sorry. See, here we go again. So if we're not speaking words of Torah or davening or words that are productive in our service of Hashem in some way, honey, what do you want in the store? I'm going to pick up chicken. Do you need any carrots, vegetables, this, that, whatever? That's you're preparing for Shabbos. That's good. That's okay. You're in the store. You say hello to people. Good Shabbos. Nice to see you. 100%. Obviously, stroll and everything else. But if not, then the words, thoughts, and actions become a vehicle, a merkava for the unclean klippos, for the sitra acher, for the other side, for the negativity. And then so of course in the thought, and so too with speech and action. Thus, even one who cannot call to mind any past sins can still humble his spirit by just taking a step back and going, did I really have to say that? Was I really thinking pure thoughts throughout the entire davening? Shmoneh Esrei, I got a good handle. But earlier on, I was a little distracted because somebody next to me came late and he was putting on his tefillin. And I was thinking, why do I have to make so much noise? I'm like, wait a second, it's not my business. Maybe he got stuck in traffic and then just, right? Your mind starts to go all over the place. And the next thing you know, you're thinking about the score of the game last night. What was the score about? No. So finally, they won? Okay, Yeshiva University won. That's holy. The takeaway for today is contemplation of introspection. This is another meditation. This takes a serious man to own up and say, you know what? I could do better. I could do better. And then that's humbling yourself. From my actions, that's the easiest control. Keep your hands to yourself, right? Your words matter. Be very careful what you say. You could literally boost a guy and give him such an inspirational day and whole almost his life, really. Tell somebody something that oh, it's so great to see you, David. You know, or he sits in the back, whatever. Oh, where were you yesterday? What? We are in the middle of chapter 29. Okay, so here's the meditation. Whenever I think holy thoughts, I'm a conduit of holiness. I'm a chariot of the divine. See, I like when we stop there. We don't even talk about the other side. And obviously, if we don't, whatever. But this is what we could do. So we stop and we think. Now, what do we think? Listen, go over this week's parsha. We finished building the Mishkan. We're lighting the menorah. We're all the different the garments of the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol and the pomegranates and the bells, and you're visualizing this service that's out of worldly with the tzitz on his forehead and the big hat and the beautiful robes, and imagine the colors and and everybody must have been just so in awe. Try to walk yourself through a 3D image of this. Open up the Chumash and you'll find all sorts of fascinating things. How the Mizbeach was shaped, and there's an endless amount of Torah. But that's the Alter Rebbe used to say, we have to live with the times. What's living with the times? Open up the Chumash and live with it. Not just like we got to read it on Shabbos. We listen to a guy drone on, and sometimes it's better than worse. But it's boring. Want to get over it because there's a nice kiddush. No, open up the Chumash and live with it. And when we think those beautiful thoughts, and of course, when we say nice words, good Shabbos, happy Freilichem, Shushan Purim tomorrow, Purim Katan, and of course, we do things positive. We greet each other, we shake each other's hands, we put on our talis and tefillin, we make a l'chaim, we celebrate. We're a chariot for our Kadosh Baruch. So we know what to do. Not always easy, but we have the tools and we have the ability. So let's go do it. Have a wonderful Purim Katan, everyone, and a good Shabbos. And I'll see you after Shabbos. We'll give you a quick